Welcome to the video that covers all the changes Viz Media made to Mega Man Star Force when it was dubbed in 2007 in North America. This is the final video covering the Mega Man NT Warrior, Access, and Star Force series that covers the localization differences, editing, and censorship that occurred to the respective series. In this video, I'll be covering all 13 episodes of the English-dubbed Mega Man Star Force series. This is a unique series in that the original Japanese episodes were about 10 minutes long and contained no ending credits. When it was dubbed in English, 2 episodes were combined into one to make one 20-minute English episode. In all, 25 Japanese episodes were turned into 13 English episodes. What were the differences? Well, sit tight and load up your Mega Buster as I go over how Viz Media censored Mega Man Star Force. But first, let's go over the general changes. First is that the English version replaces all the music. This extends to the opening as well. However, the original Japanese opening footage is shown, with only the music replaced. This is a huge step above the NT Warrior series in terms of authenticity. Second is that the episode titles are translated into English. This is a huge step above NT Warrior, which outright removed them. Third is that the dub adds ending credits. Because of the short episode length in the Japanese version, there were originally no ending credits. The fourth and largest change is that episodes are merged. Like I mentioned in the opening, 2 episodes become 1. This is always sequential, so Japanese episodes 1 and 2 becomes English episode 1, Japanese episode 3 and 4 becomes English episode 2, etc. This extends until Japanese episode 25. Because of this, the second Japanese episode title is always cut out. The fifth change is that Sonia Strum becomes Sonia Sky. Sonia Strum is the localized name of Misora Hibiki in the video games. However, in the anime, her last name is changed to Sky. No clue why, but that's how it goes. With that out of the way, let's get looking at how Viz Media censored Mega Man Star Force. Japanese Episode 1, Fugitive War Rock, is the first part of English Episode 1, Omegasis the Fugitive. The English version adds a preview of what will happen in the next few episodes. Then the prologue in the Japanese version introducing the audience to the 3 satellites and the world of Star Force is cut out. Japanese Episode 2, First Contact, is the second part of English Episode 1, Omegasis the Fugitive. For the second time now, the same prologue from the previous episode introducing the audience to the 3 satellites is cut out. Japanese Episode 3, Electromagnetic Wave Virus, is the first part of English Episode 2, Electromagnetic Wave Change. The dub adds a long, extended recap to the previous episode. The dub cuts out the ending of Episode 3, a long sequence of Geo trying to wonder how to help his friends. However, because the dub continues into Japanese Episode 4, which contains all this footage, nothing is lost. In fact, the dub cuts down on reused animation and improves the pacing. Japanese Episode 4, Electromagnetic Wave Change, is the second part of English Episode 2, Electromagnetic Wave Change. There are no changes in this episode. Japanese Episode 5, Subaru, On Air, is the first part of English Episode 3, Trouble Takes Wing. The dub once again adds a super long recap. And the dub for the third time cuts out the same recycled introduction to the series, the one with the 3 satellites and such. Japanese Episode 6, Cygnus' Challenge, is the second part of English Episode 3, Trouble Takes Wing. The dub cuts out the same recycled introduction to the series for the 4th time now. Japanese Episode 7, Satellite Crash, is the first part of English Episode 4, Crowded Airwaves. The dub again adds a super long recap. The dub again cuts out the same recycled introduction to the series for the 5th time now. Japanese Episode 8, Ox Invasion, is the second part of English Episode 4, Crowded Airwaves. For the 6th time now, the dub removes the same recycled introduction to the series. And the dub actually adds a next episode preview to this episode. Japanese Episode 9, Rampaging Oxfire, is the first part of English Episode 5, Two New Visitors. The dub again adds a super long recap, only to then remove the Japanese specific recap to the previous episode. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense to me. Does that make sense to you? Japanese Episode 10, Meet Harp Singer, is the second part of English Episode 5, Two New Visitors. The dub, for the 7th time now, cuts out the same Japanese opening about the formation of the 3 satellites. Sonia Sky's song is sung in English in the dub.
俺もファンだぜ。
She's great. So is Sky.
I'm a big fan of hers.
The card given with Sonia's name is localized into her English dub name. The dub again adds a next episode preview. Japanese episode 11, Harp Note's surprise debut, is the first part of English episode 6, The Song of Lyra Note. A recap is once again added in the dub. In this episode, Sonia Sky's songs are all dubbed into English, and they're all really good. This happens 3 times in this episode.
Hey, it's Sonia Sky.
It is, huh?
I mean, was. It's over. I promise.
I should have known it was too good to be true.
I'm awfully sorry, Sonia.
Japanese episode 12, A Virus Human Appears, is the second part of English episode 6, The Song of Lyra Note. The dub for the 8th time now removes the recap about the formation of the satellites, and the dub again adds a next episode preview. Japanese episode 13, Ikuda Sensei's Science Classroom, is the first part of English episode 7, Science Friction. A recap is again added in the dub. And for the 9th time now, the dub cuts out the recap to the formation of the satellites. Japanese episode 14, Libra Ikuda's Dangerous Classroom, is the second part of English episode 7, Science Friction. For the 10th time, believe it or not, the satellite's intro is cut out of the dub. And the dub again adds a next episode preview. Japanese episode 15, Laughing Electromagnetic Wave Race, is the first part of English episode 8, Laughter in EM Wave Space. A preview for the episode is added in the dub. And for the 11th time now, the satellite's intro is cut out of the dub. Japanese episode 16, Enraging Electromagnetic Wave Space, is the second part of English episode 8, Laughter in EM Wave Space. For the 12th time now, the satellite's intro is cut out of the dub. And then the dub adds a next episode preview. Japanese episode 17, Singing Electromagnetic Wave Space, is the first part of English episode 9, From Double to Bubble. A preview for the episode is added in the dub. A small continuity error, but Sonia's Japanese name is left unedited on the sign here, even though it's all in English. This is also the episode where Gio says Rockbuster instead of Megabuster, demonstrating the strength and faithfulness of the script.
Rockbuster!
Sonia's song is again localized into English at the episode's close.
A song? What is this?
Japanese episode 19, Calling on Cancer Buku, is the second part of English episode 9, From Double to Bubble. The billboard with Sonia's name is localized into English in every shot it originally appeared in. This happens 3 times in this episode. The concert ticket stub with Sonia's name has been localized into English, even though her original Japanese name is spelt out in Japanese. This happens twice in this episode. Then, 2 of Sonia's concerts have songs that are localized into English. This happens to close out the episode as well.
That's Sonia's song!
And the next episode preview is added in the dub. Japanese episode 19, Rockman Express Mail, is the first part of English episode 10, Mega Man Express and Wolf Woods. A preview has been added to this episode for this episode. It's basically telling you what's gonna happen. That's kinda ridiculous. A pen is shortened at the start of the episode to remove the Japanese text on screen denoting the next day. Then the shot of Gio's house is extended to make up talk time. Japanese episode 20, The Gardener Howls at the Moon, is the second part of English episode 10, Mega Man Express and Wolfwoods. A next episode preview has been added in the dub. Japanese episode 21, Wolf, Howl of Anger, is the first part of English episode 11, Wolf, Roar of Anger. A long preview of nearly 2 minutes has been added to the dub. And that's because, for the 13th time, the Satellites intro is cut out of the dub. An interesting note, but in this episode, the kanji denoting a few days later is left unedited and untranslated in the dub. This is truly bizarre because it was just cut out a few episodes prior. Makes no sense. Japanese episode 22, Electromagnetic Wave Ghost, is the second part of English episode 11, Wolf, Roar of Anger. For the 14th time, the Satellites intro is cut out of the dub. Then the dub adds a next episode preview. Japanese episode 23, The Immortal Suicidal Spirits, is the first part of English episode 12, Collision Course. A long preview for the episode is once again added in the dub. Japanese episode 24, Orpheus's Queen, is the second part of English episode 12, Collision Course. For the 15th and final time, the Satellites intro is cut out of the dub. The dub also adds a next episode preview for what would be the final dubbed episode. Japanese episode 25, Beloved Rockman-sama, is the first half of English episode 13, Biggest Fan or Biggest Foe. The only difference in this episode is that Sonia's song is again sung in English. The second half of English episode 13 should have been Japanese episode 26, right? Well, unsurprisingly, it's a 10-minute recap of everything that has occurred in the series thus far. Rumor has it that this is because the Japanese version ends on an odd number of episodes, so there would have had to have been a 10-minute English episode at some point, or they could have done something like this. Ultimately, it wouldn't amount to much, as the English dub was cancelled with a total of 13 episodes adapted from 25 Japanese episodes. And that covers all the changes Viz Media made to Mega Man Star Force. This is a unique series in the history of localized anime, because it never really aired in North America, instead streaming exclusively on Toonami Jetstream, an online streaming platform that would stream specific Toonami anime. And I would be remiss to mention the Toonami exclusive Mega Man Star Force film. That was a combination of episodes 1 through 13 with a lot of footage cut out to make it work, but that's not really what I'm covering here. With its cancellation, this ended the EXE and Star Force franchise in North America. In Japan, Star Force would run for 55 10-minute episodes, and would be followed by a 21-episode sequel series, Tribe. Ultimately, Viz Media's production is certainly unique, because it's basically uncut. Only recycled footage is really removed, with the largest substantial change being Sonia Sky's name being localized into English. Nearly everything is left intact. The longest and most recurring substantial changes is that the recycled opening is cut out 15 times, and honestly, good riddance! The dub should have kept it at least once, but 15 times is way too excessive. There were lengths done to push the English episodes to the 20-minute mark, like next episode previews and long recaps and even previews in the episode for what you're about to watch. Ultimately, to no avail. It just didn't really work. It's a shame it didn't continue, but seeing as how Tribe itself was cancelled in Japan, it was a franchise doomed to fail from the get-go. With that, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for going on this journey with me, and I really appreciate all the fans and love shown to this series. It definitely helped me motivate to keep it going and to finish it. Please comment, like, and subscribe to help the channel grow, as it would mean a lot. Thank you once again, and as always, fellow net battlers, have a good one.